I knew something was wrong the moment I found the photograph, because the woman smiling back at the camera wasn't the wife I thought I knew. It slipped out of her coat pocket while I was hanging it by the door. One harmless tug, and the truth fell at my feet like a confession. In the picture, Emily stood beside a man I didn't recognize. Her hand wrapped around his arm with a softness she hadn't shown me in months. For a moment, I convinced myself it was nothing. Coworker, friend, someone she posed with at a conference. But the intimacy was unmistakable. Her eyes told the story her mouth hadn't. When she came home that night, I tried to act normal. But my voice snagged in my throat every time I looked at her. "Long day?" she asked, kicking off her shoes. "Yeah," I muttered. "Yours?" She hesitated. Just a flicker, barely noticeable if I hadn't been watching her like a man scanning for lies. "Same as always." I nodded, letting her answer sit between us like a widening crack in glass. For weeks, I'd sensed her slipping away. Late nights, sudden work trips, a smile that never quite reached her eyes. But I'd chalked it up to stress, exhaustion, maybe even the slow erosion of marriage. We were approaching 8 years together. Routine had its own gravity. I never imagined the orbit breaking. But the photograph forced me to look closer. And the closer I looked, the more the truth screamed back at me. Started small. A receipt for a hotel 2 towns over, dated on a night she'd told me she'd worked late. A second phone I found tucked in her desk drawer, locked of course. Then the emails on her laptop, buried under a folder called Invoices. All from the same man, Leo. The subject lines alone gutted me. "Miss you. When can we talk? You okay after last night?" My hands shook so badly I nearly dropped her laptop. My breath came in these sharp, uneven bursts that made the edges of my vision go white. I was a grown man standing in his own living room, losing the version of his life he thought was real. I didn't confront her right away. I told myself I needed to be calm, rational, prepared. But the truth was simpler. I was terrified of hearing her say the words. So instead I followed her. One Tuesday evening, she claimed she needed to pick up files from the office. I watched her drive across town, straight past her building, and into that hotel from the receipt. I didn't go inside. I sat in my car, parked under a flickering street lamp, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles went numb. 2 hours later she came out. Alone. But her makeup was smudged, and her hair was pulled back differently from when she'd gone in. She looked guilty. She didn't see me. I almost wished she had. When I finally confronted her, it didn't explode the way I expected. No shouting. No slammed doors. Just 2 people standing in the kitchen where we'd once danced barefoot at midnight, now held together by nothing but the truth I already knew. "Emily," I said quietly. "Who is Leo?" She froze, completely, like someone had pressed pause on her. When she looked at me, her eyes already brimmed with tears. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she whispered. The words hit harder than the betrayal itself. She tried to explain how she'd felt invisible, how the connection had started out of anger, out of revenge for the way I'd been distant during a stressful year at work. But somewhere in the spiral, she'd lost control. Her revenge investigation, her attempt to punish me for unspoken hurts, had turned into an affair she didn't know how to step out of. "I'm sorry," she cried, sinking to the floor. "I'm so sorry." I wanted to tell her I hated her. I wanted to tell her she'd ruined everything. But the pain was too big for words. So I just asked, "Do you still love him?" Her silence was the answer. "We're separated now. Not because I didn't love her enough to fight for us, but because she loved someone else enough not to." The photograph still sits in the drawer of my nightstand, a reminder that even the people we trust the most can become strangers. Some betrayals crack you open. Hers taught me how to finally walk away.